uttered by everyone outside of Baltimore. That was awesome. Final play of the first game of the season. Baltimore thinks they're within a point. Harbaugh's calling on the 2-point play, but no. After an outstanding night, the difference in this game for Isaiah Likely, a toe. You need a toe? I'll get you a toe. Couldn't get you 6 points. 27-20 is your final as the defending champs start their second defense with a win, taking on this Baltimore team that put up a fight. A interesting final 10 minutes to this game, but Lamar Jackson, the answer to all questions here, as he scampered for more than 100, led his team down the field, but not enough in the end. It's the Chiefs by a touchdown. Postgame is presented by GMC. We are professional grade. Emory Hunt in studio. Ryan Wilson joining us here as well. And fellas, I think that's the walkaway here. If you're not a Ravens fan, that was awesome. It is so good to have football back and have a game end like that. Pure drama. Emory Hunt, let's talk about that last drive. It seemed like prevent defense might prevent the Chiefs from winning this football game. What did you make of that final drive by the Ravens?
I like how they just found completions. A lot of times people get caught up in, we got to make the big play right now. You can't get it all back in one play, but they found completions, got themselves in position to where we should have gotten a touchdown to play before and nearly got a touchdown to play afterwards. And that's what makes this game so great, because even with a minute and counting left on the clock, you felt the Ravens were doing a great job in driving themselves down the field. And I love that they were going to go for 2 if they got the score. They were trying to win this game. So we got the thriller either in regulation or in overtime. I love the way this game ended.
That's a great point about John Harbaugh there, Emory, going for 2, because that was overlooked by what happened a few seconds before. We're seeing here this unbelievable play by Isaiah Likely in the back of the end zone after what looked like his season might be over, the way he landed out of bounds a play before that. So that whole entire series for me, Joe and Emory, was pretty much what Emory laid out there. You take the quick outs, you get out of bounds, you work your way down the field meticulously. There's no rush. Lamar used his legs for much of the night, didn't do it on that last drive. And even though this game ended in a 1-score difference, just like the last time these two teams met, I feel a lot different about the way the Ravens approach this game and what their season might look like going forward. MVP Lamar looks every bit of that and then some. They had balance on offense. They did run the ball twice as many times as they did last time these teams met. They ran 32 times. So a lot of reasons to feel good. There are no moral victories in the NFL. But to paraphrase Joe Musso here, smoke them if you got them, because that was exciting.
I mean, we need to cool off here for a moment, but plenty to get to. I find it very interesting, according to our stats and info. 24 losses on Lamar Jackson's career. 5 of them have come to Mahomes and the Chiefs. That's 21% of the total losses in this man's career have come against this team, and the difference mere inches in this one. I want to push back on something you said there, because it was impressive what Lamar did tonight. There's no other way to chop this up, but did it look sustainable to you? Took a lot of licks. A lot of it was off script, a bit ad-lib at times. They look talent deficient in some important spots here, Ryan. Do you have any questions to be posed here of this Ravens team and if they could do this over a 20-week sample size?
No, and that's a fair point, because it doesn't feel sustainable. We heard all broadcasts how Lamar has lightened the load there, so to speak, and is in better shape, and he certainly moved like it. But also, if you weigh 10 or 15 pounds less or whatever it happens to be, that means you're going to be more susceptible to taking big hits from bigger guys than you, and injury might soon follow. So I don't think it's sustainable, and the offensive line is going to be a real concern. We heard about it coming into the preseason. We saw it frequently tonight. We can put aside for the moment the illegal formation penalties that the officials were dead set on calling what felt like every other series. But they have a rotating turnstile at right tackle. They were switching guys there. They have some concerns with the interior offensive line with guys not named Tyler Linderbaum, and they're going to have to figure that out. And it may take 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks. Who knows? But I love what Lamar did today, but I don't think it's sustainable over the course of the next 3 or 4 months.
122 on the ground, 16 totes. The 14th time in his career he's gone for 100+ in a game. Also passes Russell Wilson for the 3rd most rushing yards by a quarterback. And at this pace, he will be at the top of that list by the end of this season. Lack of a vertical threat, Emory, is going to bring a lot of players down into the box here to try and stop Lamar throughout this season. But let's get to the other side here, because if Isaiah Likely was the revelation for one, for the other, looks like a legitimate receiving core at this point in the form of Rashee Rice and the young buck in Xavier Worthy. You start putting together those types of pieces around Patrick Mahomes, it's going to be hard to stop this group. What did you make of that receiving core here through 60 minutes?
That they were able to win short, intermediate, deep down the field. We saw everyone get involved. We saw Rashee Rice do a great job of being that big slot receiver. A lot of times what we used to see from the old, now new, former Kansas City Chief in Juju Smith-Schuster. He was working well over the middle of the field. Don't know why he was matched up on a linebacker. But then you had the wild card, the Tyreek Hill factor in Xavier Worthy, scoring on a touchdown run in the first quarter, slipping past the defense in that busted coverage situation to outrun them to the end zone. So now you have the legitimate weapon on the outside that could take the top off the defense, which, again, we talked about this in the pregame. It lifts the umbrella up for everyone else underneath to have success, including the run game. So I thought they did a great job being diverse in their passing game, getting everyone involved, and found big plays when they needed it, even if it was from a rookie.
Emory, Joe, you know who the big winner was tonight? Hollywood Brown, because when he comes back, it's going to be even a lot more dangerous for this offense. Emory touched on a lot of the high points, and Joe, you're the former wide receiver on set here, but you get Rashee Rice in the bunch formation. You have him, as Emory pointed out, against a linebacker. You're running picks and rubs, and he runs 8 slants, and he catches 8 balls, and he's just dominant in the middle of the field. You have to have an answer for that, and Zach Orr, the new defensive coordinator, did a great job in totality, I thought, against a high-powered offense. But to Emory's larger point, Rashee Rice balled out. You think Bills fans are watching the Xavier Worthy going, if we hadn't turned it down, we could have taken him? So there are going to be questions about that as well. I was asking those questions draft night. Rick Spielman assured me there's nothing to be concerned about. So we'll see how this plays out. And then Noah Gray, who got the new deal, is balling out as Travis Kelce 2.0. There's a lot of reasons to be excited. And this group could be the best group post-Tyreek Hill that Patrick Mahomes has had. One other fun fact from our guy Doug Clawson, who we work with at CBS Sports, he tweeted this out. That touchdown pass to Xavier Worthy on the blown coverage by Marlon Humphrey and the safety there. Let me see here. Third pass touchdown traveling 20-plus air yards for Patrick Mahomes since Tyreek left.
Wow.
Think about that. This offense is going to open up this year, in large part because of those playmakers we're talking about.
Ravens bought on a little candy outside, and it was a free runner for Worthy, his second of the night. The first came on the ground, had not had a rushing touchdown as a Longhorn, and here Andy Reid finding new ways to use the talent that he has at his disposal. Ryan touched upon it there, but is it possible that we have not seen the fullest form of this Kansas City Chiefs dynasty just yet? It was a great team that won it 2 years ago. It was a good team that executed in big moments a year ago. Could this be the best Chiefs team we've seen throughout this stretch?
It could be, and what we saw today was something we touched on at halftime, was the secondary. I was completely impressed with how these dudes manned up on the outside. Now, a lot of this is matchup dependent. Yes, they went against Baltimore. It really doesn't have a bona fide #1 option on the perimeter, but to go out there and force Lamar Jackson in the first half to, throw 5.8 yards an attempt, just over 100 yards passing, even though they threw the football 15 times. So that was something that stood out to me. And then on the back end, toward the back end of the game, the secondary really stepped up big in crunch time. And he was really strong inside the red zone all throughout the game. So I came away more impressed with the secondary. We know they lost L'Jarius Sneed. That was the biggest question we had coming in. How would they replace him? But, man, this team as a unit, safeties and corners, played extremely well.
Well said, Emory. Chamari Connor balled out. Jalen Watson, who battled injuries in recent years, balled out, the former 7th-round pick. We know about Josh Williams, the long physical cornerback out of Fayetteville State, who looks the part and he needed to get more reps at this level. He balled out. And you have to feel pretty good, as you note, in a post-L'Jarius Sneed world to come out there and do what they did. When these teams played back in January, Steve Spagnuolo, the defensive coordinator for the Chiefs, blitzed Lamar Jackson 45% of the time. It didn't look like they blitzed him quite that often. In fact, they only rushed 4 a lot, just from my viewing of the broadcast like the rest of us, and they didn't even really spy Lamar. That meant to me they felt pretty comfortable with what the back four were doing. And we haven't even mentioned Trent McDuffie, one of the best players in the NFL. That's how impressive this young unit was. And again, that's great news. I remember talking to Andy Reid at the Combine, and I said, does that allow you, having Steve Spagnuolo dial up those plays, those young playmakers, to take more chances on offense? And he goes, it does. helps to have Patrick Mahomes, and it helps to have all those playmakers we just talked about. But a great first start for Spags in the young secondary there.
Yeah, Spags has, throughout the decades, earned the respect of not just his players, but also the referees. Got a timeout that he wasn't supposed to even get in this game. The officiating had some errors of week 1 as well. We're giving out grades throughout this season, and we're going to grade some of the burning questions early on in the year. Question coming into this game was, what would this Ravens rushing attack look like with the addition of Derrick Henry? I want you to grade out that rushing attack, Lamar included, but take into account Henry, 13 totes for just 46 yards.
Lamar included is why I gave it a C, because that helps it from being a failing grade. Lamar going over 100 yards, you expect that. That's great for him. That's the ultimate X factor. What I don't like about how they utilize Derrick Henry, and I hate this as a running back, where you get predictable by formation and personnel. When they're in the shotgun and Derrick Henry is running sidecar, a lot of times they're not giving him the football. Only when they were in pistol or under center did you see Derrick Henry get the football. So they got to find a way to not get predictable by personnel and by formation, because teams were able to tee off on the Chiefs were able to tee off on Derrick Henry tonight because of that reason. And the Ravens are usually able to run the football when they want to. That wasn't the case tonight. They couldn't run the football when they want to, which tells me the Chiefs were able to dominate the point of attack.
So a passing grade, but still going to need you to come in for office hours, do a little talking, and get things sorted out. Ryan, I'm going to give you the task here of the passing game for the Chiefs. The receivers, we're wondering how they might gel. It looked good in this first iteration of what we've seen from the passing attack. 291 from Mahomes. What's the grade?
I give him an A, and the only reason I didn't give him an A+, the start felt a little choppy. Again, week 1, even though they did play a pretty good amount, the starters did in preseason, it's to be expected. I gave him an A because of the Patrick Mahomes interception at midfield in the first half. And then also, Patrick Mahomes made a fantastic play to avoid another interception, a great Trenton Simpson batted ball later in the game in the second half. Otherwise, it could have been much worse, the grade. But A, because I feel really good about where we're going with these young receivers that we just talked about. But there's still room for improvement. And look, I don't grade as hard as Emory, so I think the A feels much better than the C right now if you're the Ravens.
Grading on a curve, and we are all winners. A's all around for our guys, Ryan Wilson, Emory Hunt. We're just getting started, fellas. We appreciate you here in Week 1, Game 1. It's the With the First Pick podcast. Ryan Wilson, Rick Spielman, each and every week taking a look at the future of this league we love, and that future becomes the present quite quickly. Quickly like speed. Xavier Worthy, we see you. Download, subscribe, and enjoy With the First Pick.